What's up, C?
Consequently,
There you go. I knew it.
He'd never be on the hot seat. Me and Steven.
Say it.
There's no one that would have a view of Jason the way we do. Coach, do you think that Jason Garrett in this year that he'd be on the hot seat there with the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, Jerry, I never heard him say he wasn't on the hot seat. I just heard him say that he has the best view of the decisions that he makes and the pragmatic decisions, and that he respects those decisions. But at this point, you've made a pretty big transition. You've changed up the quarterback. You've made a commitment to the offensive line. You've
changed out some of the coaches underneath them.
Not some. I mean, it was a overhaul of the coaching staff. So you've had that opportunity. You've had continuity. You've had the chance to be there for a long time and make a lot of decisions that shape this organization. They've got to make some sort of jump here, and they've got to show it may not be the Super Bowl, but they've got to show that that's where they're trending, and that maybe it's a piece here or a piece there. And going into training camp, there's a team that you hope to be, and then coming out of training camp, there's a team that you realize you have to be, and that's the important thing that they need to do is understand who they are coming out of training camp, and make sure that's the way they go into the season.
Is Jason Garrett's success tied into Dak Prescott's success this year? Will he go as Dak Prescott goes?
Yeah, absolutely. And the part of removing Dez was the idea that they want, I forget the quote, they want the receivers to run the exact routes, or I forget how it was phrased. But if that's going to be the way it is, where it's precision routes, it's pure coverage based, and look, I like that. They've got to make it work, and they've got a group of receivers that you don't know whether they can get open when the game is on the line. You don't know if they're going to be able to get open when it's straight man-to-man coverage. You don't know if they're playing from behind, how well that group's going to respond. And if they can't do it very well, what are you going to do from a coaching perspective to help them? What formations, what plays, what are you going to design to give those guys an opportunity to be successful, understanding their shortcomings?
That is, I think, the biggest key here, and that will be Jason Garrett's biggest challenge this year, is, to use a cliche, man, oh man, he's going to have to coach them up. Because you're going to have to scheme guys open. You're going to have to do things with guys that have not, I don't want to say they're under-talented, but they at least have not shown to be highly talented players in this league at your pass-catching positions, that you are going to have to get them open on Tuesday, Wednesday, when you're installing the game plan, that they can then go execute on Sunday. Because it's not going to be a whole lot of how'd that play happen. Man, Allen Hurns just blew by, beat his man, beat the safety, and he was there. And Dak delivered a perfect ball 40 yards in the air. Like, that is going to fall on the head coach. Well, in addition to the new coordinators and the coaches, I understand all that part of it. But that's what he's got to do. So this is a critical year for Dallas. Because there's no fifth-year option on Dak Prescott's contract. Dak Prescott, this coming off season, probably contract extension. Is it off season after that? Zeke's getting one, if not sooner. Like, all of a sudden, those cheap, they're paying Dak $700,000. Like, those cheap players are about to become super expensive players. And so this is a critical moment when you have that all-pro offensive line, when you still have DeMarcus Lawrence, to go out there and try to compete in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL.
And as Coach Mangini mentioned, that one of the things before you get on the hot seat is they make you change your staff. And that's what they did with Dallas. So part of being in the spotlight or on that hot seat is you got to change your staff. And then you're judged based on what type of improvements have they made. And in changing the staff, they're doing it without a lot of veteran leadership, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So now, with Jason being a former backup quarterback, Jason hadn't really cut his teeth on offense or on defense, and that becomes a problem with an identity as a coach. Well, is he going to upgrade the offense, or is he going to have a huge influence? I don't think he's going to have an influence on the defense because they really respect their defensive coordinator. But the one thing about Dallas is tricky. Jerry made a lot of mistakes in reacting early in his career as an owner. Now, as he's gotten older and seasoned, he likes Jason because he believes Jason can handle being the Dallas Cowboys coach. And he likes the relationship that they personally have. Now, is Jerry Jones willing to invite someone else to take over that team? See, I don't think Jerry is as interested in that as people think he is. So I think people put Jason Garrett more on the hot seat than Jerry Jones. I think Jerry, even though he has pressure there in Dallas, I don't think there's the pressure from the ownership on Jason like people would think that a team that hasn't been to the playoffs.
And when you look at the way that this team is formed, they do have an outstanding offensive line. They've committed to it financially. They've got an outstanding running back. They should be able to control games in the running game. And what that should do is get an eighth person down the box, which means the safety is down close to the line of scrimmage. And that should open up some things outside. Is it going to be perfect? No, but having a substantial running game and then being able to run play action, meaningful play action off of that, because they do have to honor the run threat, that should open things up. It's more when you're behind or when the whole world knows that you have to throw the ball and the receivers have to run a route and get open. That's where the problems start coming in, when you can't supplement it with other parts of the offense.
CC, what does it mean to be coach of the Dallas Cowboys? You said Jerry Jones wants someone who knows how to be coach. What does that mean? Well,
from a media standpoint, the interviews, the Dallas media can be difficult because of the expectations. It's a large market. Jerry Jones is the general manager. So Jerry, sometimes as far as football, he's going to think that he knows more than you. And then Jerry's backup as the general manager happens to be Jerry's son. So it becomes difficult when you're talking to your boss, who's the owner, and then the guy who has the number one position, the general manager.
He's his son.
He's his son. So it becomes, what do I say? How much do I really tell him? And how much control does the head coach in Dallas have as far as the overall personnel decisions, which I don't believe is significant?
Who's the voice of the New England Patriots?
Bill Belichick.
Okay, who's the voice of the...
I was trying to figure out, is there
No. Who's the voice...
Gotcha.
I never thought of that.
I'm leading something. Who's the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs? Andy Reid. I would say. The voice of the Green Bay Packers, probably Mike McCarthy, right? Who's the voice of the Dallas Cowboys? Jerry Jones. And I think this is a key component. Remember, he fired Jimmy Johnson after winning a couple Super Bowls, because guess who the voice and the face of the Cowboys was? Jimmy
Johnson.
And by the way, Bill Parcells had a good run there. They got him to the playoffs his last year there. The right after that, one thing that has been good for Jason Garrett is, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, he's absolutely known his place in the organization. And I think there are some coaches that would not always like the fact that the final voice publicly is always going to be Jerry Jones. And I think Jerry likes that Jason is very comfortable with that.
I think the other thing that is a positive in Dallas is, you know that the owner's involved in Dallas. There's a lot of places where the owner doesn't say anything, but they're very involved. And as a head coach, you got to go up to the podium and say, hey, I think this is a really great idea. When in the back of your mind, no, this isn't a good idea. I'm being totally forced to do this, but I've got to say what a great idea it is. Boss. And then when it fails, it's like, maybe I should have
advocated for it.
Maybe I should have made a different decision.
All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.